Hello, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you join. Thanks for joining our live demo of the new Caplena. We are very excited to demonstrate you today what we have developing in the past few months. We've been reworking and improving and enhancing mostly the fine-tuning view, but also created lots of new features. One of the main features will be a topic level sentiment, allowing you to give, pretty much what the term says, like providing sentiments across various topics within one question or within one text to analyze. So we would like to show you that straight into the platform. My name is Andre. I'm the Customer Success Manager of Caplena, and I'm joined today by Pascal. Pascal is one of the founders, and he will guide you through the demo. You are muted, so when you want to chat with us or or communicate with us, you can use the chat. And for questions, on the top, on the bottom right, you find a question tab. So for questions, please use that one, and we will control the question and either slice them in when they fit into our agenda, or we take them at the end. We are aiming for about half an hour demonstration and presentation, and then we give you the chance to ask further questions. And yeah, with that, I would like to start and I hand over to Pascal. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Andre, for the introduction. And yeah, my name is Pascal. For those who have met me, I'm one of the co-founders of Caplena. I also still develop on the AI and then the backend in Caplena, and we've been working with the product team for really a couple of months now to bring you this new feature, which was requested a lot and really a big change for our platform overall. And really the biggest change that Andre already teased is that we're really introducing a sentiment hierarchy on top of the existing hierarchy, which was just category and codes. And we're now adding a third layer, which allows us to differentiate the topics with respect to their sentiment. As you can see, I'm here in a new knowledge base. We'll launch all this in the coming weeks. You'll have, when you get access to this beta, I will also send you the link to this. So in a way you'll get all the information that is needed for you to start your test of the new version. It's just for me now to illustrate a little bit and guide you through the process. So yeah, we indicate sentiment on a topic basis with these small indicators. So here, for example, this would be customer service friendliness, positive, neutral, and negative. And you'll see this throughout the app when you switch to the new version, that this will become indicators like this, indicating that there is sentiment enabled on these specific topics. Yeah, on top of that, we've built a lot of new views, added a lot of features, and I'm going to guide you through it, a couple of them now, by really going from the beginning, from looking at the project and discovering the topics, signing them, etc. First off, one more thing on like the naming. I know this might be a bit of a change for some. Previously we called these items here codes. We will no longer use this name for this entity, but rather these are now called topics. So it would be topic customer service friendliness, and a topic can be in multiple sentiments, as I mentioned. There is still something called a code, which I'll explain later, but is more reference to a unique identifier that you can use in your when exporting, when using it, the topic somewhere else. But this is just a naming change, as I mentioned. Okay, let's hop into the application. Well, we're still here in a similar view as you're used to it. But what you'll notice once you'll join the beta, that there is a toggle on the top right here, where you'll be able to switch between old version and new one. It's possible to switch all the time, but some settings will be, once you join the beta, some things will be enabled by default, but a lot of things you can just toggle and switch back between the old version and the new one, depending on what you'd like to see and where you'd like to work on. So let's start off with kicking off an analysis here. What I'll showcase here is our new and improved topic generation. So we've done a lot of work on improving the auto discovery of the topics in the data that you upload. In this case, I uploaded a data on consumer electronics. I think it was TVs. So an NPS study on TVs. And we're going to aim to automatically discover topics now in this data without any precursors. And you will see that the quality was greatly enhanced and also works with the topic level sentiment. So instead of choosing here a basis, which you can obviously still do, it works with also with your old projects that you can copy over. But let's just auto-generate here. This will take a couple of seconds. And in contrast to the old version, the automatic topic creation now creates much more human-like categories and topics, and also straight away considers this topic level sentiment. And this is already what you see here right away. Similar to before, we create categories, we create topics. These have now been all auto-generated based on the data that we uploaded. And for most of them, you will see this small indicator. This circle indicates that topic level sentiment is enabled for this specific topic. So meaning instead of having like before, maybe for example, a topic, a code, product quality negative, product quality positive, product quality neutral, for example, you would now only have one so-called topic with this enabled, and later on we will see that the AI will automatically assign the relevant sentiment to individual rows. This just saves a lot of space, let's say, in the topic collection. It's much easier also then to use in the visualizations, which we'll see later on. Now, similar to before, I can use this view to clean up a little bit the topics. For example, here, features, I would move to product instead of brand. Brand here, I don't care about the specific, about Samsung. In this case, I just care about the reputation. Let's say we also take a look at here the quality topics. Those probably have some overlap. I will, because the product is a TV, so we'll just remove that and rename just overall quality, let's say. And here we can also see this this toggle topic sentiment, which enables or disables this topic level sentiment. I can enable or disable this anytime. If I sort of want to have the old behavior as you had before, I can also do this by just disabling the topic sentiment everywhere and write out here overall quality negative, for example. So in that case, you'd still have the same behavior as before. But we don't want that. We want to have our amazing new version. So we enable it here. All right, now that we're sort of done with the rough iteration of our topics, obviously we can add later, we can edit later as always. I'm going to hit save and let our AI assign these along with the sentiment. The same as before, I can then switch, I can move into the coding view, and now you'll see our brand new coding view. We'll rename it also to data view or fine-tuning view, a bit more generic, but it's essentially just a view where you see on one hand, on the left side, your responses, your reviews, whatever you uploaded, and at the right-hand side, you see the available topics, which you created in previous step. And here you can see the automatic assignment of these topics along already with the respective sentiment. And we can go through here, big changes already that you can go through here by scrolling, which you couldn't do before. It scrolls as an endless list. You can also scroll very quickly here to, I don't know, item number 614. you can scroll through hundreds of thousands of reviews or responses like this. And it's really a nicer interface to use with the mouse compared to our previous version. I will quickly show you also now sort of the difference, how then the topics operate in the new version. So now, for example, we have here screen quality topic with topic level sentiment. If we go back to the old version, which we can do anytime, we'll notice that now there are a lot of topics or a lot of codes. In this view, it's still codes. And we'll see here that it created here good screen quality, poor screen quality, and screen quality neutral. So these three represent then in the new view just one topic. And of course, I can still also use this old version. There's one caveat to that. You can not edit the topics once you sort of generate with the new flow, with the new version. You cannot edit the topics in here. But if you do the entire analysis, then in the old version, it's still possible. So you could go ahead and, for example, when you do not enable here the toggle and start the analysis like that, still the complete old flow, you will still be able to use that as before. So let's go back into this new coding view. Some more features that I would like to highlight in this view, which have been requested many times, and we wanted to enable, apart from obviously just the scrolling and this topic level sentiment, are additional filtering, which you'll see here on the left. So it's now possible to filter by any metadata you might upload. For example, I could filter here by certain communication providers, and this will then dynamically filter what I see here in the data. Obviously, I can still use the search, etc. One additional feature is that we've improved the editing functionality. So now, for example, if I want to revise this, I can just go ahead and click on it, and it will open up this sidebar where I can go ahead and add additional topics. Let's say I want to have something as well about smartness, let's say, of the TV, to see how, if people think the TV is actually smart or not so much. Let's add this to the category product, also add here the topic level sentiment. And we'll see here that it automatically here assigns then straight away. It will automatically run through. There is no more need to trigger this. Any change you make to the topics here will be automatically then reflected in this list. It will update periodically, automatically. And you'll see here that, here it's assigned neutral sentiment because they are just saying it's a smart, it's a smart TV. So it's this product category, let's say, not saying anything about it being particularly smart or not so smart. Let's say, for example, I would want to edit multiple. I can also do this now very easily. I can here, using Shift and click, I can select multiple. I can add topics to all of these or replace them. There are multiple options here in the bulk assign that you can use. Just much more flexibility than in our old version. What you also can do is display additional columns in this data. So for example, I would want to see the manufacturer as well as the operating system the user used, and maybe the career. So I can see here these additional values on top of just the raw text, which typically is the thing that I'm most interested about, but this is also nice to see on top, which row am I actually at, etc. You can also filter, for example, for a given selection, then select all rows and do a bulk edit like that. That's also possible. So really great flexibility when it comes to filtering, displaying additional data, bulk editing, etc. Yeah, so I've shown sort of the main features of editing and viewing here. I'd like to also highlight that we have a new export, which allows you to, first of all, export much larger volumes of data. Previously, we had like various limits for different kind of file formats, which is no longer the case. You can essentially any size of project you can export here from this view, either the individual rows along with the topics, along with the sentiment per topic and per row. And you can also export with filters. So for example, I would like to only take a look at or export for a given operating system. I could just click here, export, and will only export these 407 rows that I care about right now. This has also been requested quite frequently, and it's also a nice usability add-on. Yeah, so this is basically already it for this view. We think it's much simpler and easier to use than version, and allows for a lot of flexibility, a lot of automation around this topic level sentiment. You see it in combination also with the overall sentiment, and it just allows you to be very quick in looking at your data and understanding the row assignments. So yeah, when we are sort of happy with our assignment, obviously what we can do is we can go ahead and build charts or export this using the export as it's just shown before, or our new API, which I don't have time today to go into, but this will come also. There is a lot of documentation around that or available already as well. And one more option, obviously, is to use our visualizations. And to launch this topic level sentiment, we've also added a new kind of visualization, which is a bar chart that is colored along with the sentiment with respect to a given category and topic. So in this new chart, you can directly compare how many people said something negative about a specific topic versus something positive, etc. So yeah, this allows also for just clicking on a specific bar to open up here the view where you can see then matching verbatims for a given topic with a given sentiment. So for example, for all respondents, I mentioned something positive about the quality or something negative about the price. You can also then drill into detail, which I'm not going to show here, but it is possible here to really look into the data and use this as well in the dashboards that you may have created already for your other projects. We will add more charts that leverage this topic level sentiment in the coming months, such as, for example, a date chart where you can see how the sentiment evolves over time, etc. So stay tuned for that. At the moment, this is the only chart that really leverages this. The other charts still work. They will still produce results, and there you'll just have it expanded with these codes as they were before. So you can still use this as you may seem fit. Yeah, so let's go back to the overview. So yeah, in general, this was already the most important features that I've shown, but it's of course not everything. We've added a couple more features that I cannot show you at this time because of lack of time, but for example, we added a Qualtrics integration, which you may already noticed that you can use during when you upload. You can connect your Qualtrics account. We also added support for anonymizing verbatims. that's still in beta. That will also share this later. We've removed a lot of size restrictions on the data so that you can work with larger projects, no longer need to split data into different projects, but really work in a single project, which makes it much easier to work with in general. We've also made a couple of changes um, to our credit system. So instead of billing when you export or create charts, and in various different cases, also depending on whether you chose reviews or translations or not, we removed that whole complexity from if you switch to V2, and also for all users in general, we will start billing the credits on upload, just to simplify and make it more aligned with how it also works in other apps. So this is also a small change that will happen, as well as we will change the way keywords work. For those of you curious, you can read then more about it in the knowledge base. But essentially, we'll no longer support keywords as they are right now, but replace it with more of an exact match kind of keyword that will also support regular expressions and just allow for a more transparent behavior of these kind of keywords. Yeah, so that's it for a tour of the most important new features. Yeah, the next step, if you want to join the beta, would be to then, once we send out we'll send out after the session, we'll send out a link to a survey where you can sort of enroll into our new version. And when you enroll, then we'll enable it for you. We can only enable it for your entire organization. Thus, everybody then in your organization will be able to either try it or switch back using this toggle as always. But yeah, be mindful that we can only allow it for entire organization. So all of your team will then essentially be in the beta for the V2.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're able to use it, but they don't have to use it. Huh? So maybe some members want to try, but as Pascal said, like just to make that clear, that you can also work, with the old version at the same time.
exactly. And just let's say for the fun of it, I will also run through it once more to generate topics, just to show you that it works for different kind of context without really industry, you saying which industry it is about or something like that. It really just automatically generates these topics based on what's in these individual rules. Here it's about a restaurant, I think in London or something, a burger restaurant, where it will discover topics around food, customer service, etc. Without you supplying a precursor, but obviously you still can, and it will also generate on top. Yeah, one small thing I forgot to mention, which I can also explain here, is the ability to migrate from old codes, let's say, to new topics. Let me quickly first finish this, and then I'll go back to that. So here, for example, it's created again category, for example, product, and there one important product obviously are the fries and the food in general. It also has something about health, about size. Maybe size belongs here to the product. I can regroup that again, etc. And it also, for example, discovered something that the variety, the selection is important of the burgers. That was a frequently mentioned topic. So yeah, let's quickly head back, because I think this is important, especially for existing users, that you understand what happens if you, for example, copy a codebook from an old project, let's say, and want to use the new features. Then you can do something which we call merging. So let's say, for example, we have here two topics without sentiment enabled, and this would come, for example, from an old code frame or or might be just generated by you here in the UI, you can just drag them on top of each other. Then name the topic like in a sentiment-free way. Let's say we just call it technology. Enable the topic of a sentiment, and then I just need to tell it sort of which one that I used previously was the positive variant and which one was the negative variant. So here, new technology is positive variant, old technology is negative. So I'll select this, and then I can hit merge, and it will update all the existing coding that may have already been happening on in this project, either automatically or also manually, and we'll create this new topic technology, which is a combination of both of them, just then hidden in the sentiment.
So that would mean that the old coding of these two codes would be now broken up and then basically expanded by the sentiment. So that the overall count remains the same, but then you have the split by sentiment.
Yeah, so this just merges these two into a topic, but your granularity that you get out is still the same. Obviously, now everything that was old technology is now just technology with a negative sentiment.
Yeah, good. Just to make that clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think with that, that was the last thing I wanted to show, more for the advanced existing users. I think we can hop into the Q&A. Again, we will distribute the link to join our beta right after this call. We'll grant access on a rolling basis starting from next week. So you will be able to start testing this quite soon, not immediately though, just to make that clear. Yeah, and with that, please, Andre, let me know what kind of questions were in there.
At the moment, we are pretty free on the questions, and we are looking good on time. So we have still over 15 minutes to take your questions. So please go ahead and ask him. I just want to, oh, there's the first one popping in. Just want to say what Pascal just mentioned. The email you're getting is the thank you email for the participation, and there will be a short link to a short questionnaire where you can provide your email address, and then we will contact you for the beta version. Would be great if you're interested to answer that. Okay, I have a question here. Vera is saying, like you mentioned, the code is now used in a different way. Which is that? Yeah, you mentioned that before, Pascal. How did that change?
Yeah, so what we now call code is basically only the numeric identifier, and you can see it here expanded. So we automatically also generate these. So if you still want to use these kind of identifiers, you can. So we'll create one for the neutral variant, for the positive variant, and the negative variant, and you'll also see this in the export then. So it's completely compatible with your previous kind of workflow that you used if you use this kind of identifiers to build your own, to import this into your own tool or in your own visualizations suite, then you can still do so. It will just create one code, which is a combination of topic and sentiment for these topics that have sentiment enabled. If you disable it, if I disable it, I mean, obviously this is now a bit of a destructive action because it will remove the negative and positive variant. It also sells so. For this testing purposes, I will now disable it. It will then, same as before, just have this one code that you can still use exactly the same as before.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, please feel free to ask more questions. Okay. I have another one here. Will this walkthrough be available to watch for future use, or that we can distribute to other team members who were unable to attend? Yes, I can answer that question. You will get, basically the thanks for the participation link. And even though if you just signed up and you didn't come into the demo, you can replay and rewatch the session. So there's a video link, and you can share that also with your team members. So anybody who didn't join, you want to share that, just pass on the email, and there will be a replay link where you can watch the session again. Please feel free to add other questions. Otherwise, oh, there's another one coming in here. Is there a way now to filter for exact words only? So for example, I need to find all answers with Jens, just basically look for the specific term NCE rather than being part of a word.
If that's in the verbatims themselves, then currently not. I mean, this would be something what the new keywords would essentially allow by just allowing for exact match. But right now, this is like working like a normal text search, as you would allow, as you would assume also that a substring also matches.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Yeah, maybe now that I just also noticed that maybe we still have a bit of time, I'd like to also highlight that we still have a new, or we still have a focus mode. It's just it got revamped, so this is also still available, where you can really see one verbatim at a time and focus on it. And this will also automatically only show non-reviewed rows, so those that you have not, let's say, approved or reviewed. And it will also sort again in order of how certain RAI is with the assignment. So here we see the ones that already the ones that are sort of low confidence in the assignment. And yeah, I can obviously use here again the keyboard, etc., to assign these topics as I would before.
Okay, great. Pascal, I have two more questions here. One is it possible to filter for sentiments?
Absolutely. You can filter both for the overall sentiment, so the one of the entire statement that we had already before, or for specific topics along. And at the moment, we're like you cannot filter for a specific topic level sentiment inside this view, but you can in the charts, as I showed before. We'll enable this over the next weeks or so. That's definitely on the short-term roadmap to also have here the filter for a certain sentiment with respect to a specific topic. But right now it will be to filter for a given overall sentiment. But for sure this will come soon.
Okay. Do you still have, that's another question, do you still have to invert an end in the filter option? So our old logical search, how would that work right now? So invert or end, to use end or or functions.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and you can use by just adding multiple filters. The invert option is now a bit different. I mean, we just have here more options to choose from. For example, here you can see, show empty or show non-empty. So this is essentially the inversion of the empty filter, just a bit simplified to make it easier.
So it's kind of integrated. Okay. Another one is, that's a good one. Until when is the old version going to be available? Is there already a deadline when the old version will be not available anymore?
Not as of now, but it will not be available for a very long time. We're planning sort of a phase out over a month or two, depending also obviously on the feedback we get and on the rate of adoption. And yeah, so it will be available for a while, but yeah, we will switch to the new version for everybody.
Okay. Okay. You kind of mentioned that before, Pascal, when you showed how to, open an existing old project in the new fine-tuning view. So basically, if I have an old project or existing project for a tracker or something like that, I can simply switch over and leave it as it is, or I decide whether I would like to use the topic level sentiment, and then I do the merge, apply the merge functionality that you presented earlier. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. what's the impact on the charting? Is there any impact on the charts?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, as I showed, the main impact is that you get a new chart, which is this topic level sentiment chart. The other charts work the same way. They just have then more codes, 3 codes per topic level sentiment enabled topic. So you will get here then overall neutral, overall negative, overall positive as individual codes in the chart, as I showed before.
So they would be automatically updated in case I have a dashboard behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. All right. Any more questions? Please go ahead. If you don't have questions, you also feel free to give us some feedback. Is there anything you like a lot, or any concerns or anything? Okay, so another question. Are we planning to add Zappler integration anytime in the near future? I'm personally aware of Zappler. Zappler is Z-A-P-L-E-R. Pascal, I don't know.
I think you mean Zapier.
Oh, Zapier. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm
yeah.
a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be available quite soon. We don't have an exact launch date for that yet, but it's part of sort of our. Will be available also with a new API. We're still working on that, and yeah, we'll release that in coming months. I cannot give an exact date right now, but it's definitely high up on our list of integrations that we want to build. Let's say it that way.
Excellent. Any more questions? No. Or any comments? Please feel free to write.
If not, then that's also great. I think people just also want to, to get started using it. So yeah, again, we'll make it available as a beta version. Please, if you have feedback while using it, please let us know. I will also send around a survey just to collect any kind of feedback that you have on the new flow. Let us know how it worked with detecting topics, detecting a sentiment, this entire flow. We're curious what cool stuff you can do with this new version.
Exactly. Just to repeat, I think it's pretty clear, but it's actually a better participation on request. So if you like to join, we will give it to you, but it's not available for everybody just now. It will take a little longer until it will be rolled out for everyone. So please feel free to give us your feedback and roll for it and play with it and test it and try it. Okay. I would say if there are no more questions, I would say thank you very much for your time. We hope you are excited as we are and hope to see you soon on the beta platform. Otherwise, of course, if there are any other questions, you always know how to find us in the chat. You see it here on the screen on the top right. The little question mark always gives you access to our help center or direct contact by a support email address or our chat, and then we answer all your questions as soon as we can. All right. I would say.
All right.
Have a great.
Then bye, everyone. Thanks for attending.
Have a great rest of the day. Bye bye. Thank you.